Unless you have been living under a rock, you must already know that there is a new sheriff in town. And no, it's not Woody, it's Mauricio Pochettino, who will take charge of the United States men's national team as the new head coach. And we can't help but wonder, what will his starting 11 look like? What's the style of play that he is most likely to implement? Which players gain the most with Pochettino in charge? Which players lose the most? Today, we're gonna dive into all of that. Hi, if you're new here, I'm Filippo, and welcome to Tactical Manager TV, and welcome to a new episode where we dive into the new United States men's national team coach, Mauricio Pochettino. This is how it's gonna go. First, we're gonna go through some basic assumptions based on his past work with Tottenham, PSG, and Chelsea, just to determine the formation he might go with and style of play. Then we're going to go position by position into a projected starting 11 and talk about what Pochettino likes to see in each one of those positions while talking about his system. After that, I want to go through which players gain the most with the addition of Mauricio Pochettino as the new coach. Then last but not least, I will share with you if I have any concerns. I am very optimistic about this hire, but there are a few concerns. Barely any, but we'll talk about it. Look, it's not easy to predict what Pochettino will do because at the time of this recording, I don't really think Pochettino knows what he will do himself. For that reason, this video is, once again, a calculated guess. Now listen, I live by 5 rules, and they are to always be nice to one another, so do that in the comment section, be nice. Never drink coffee without having a toilet nearby. Remember to turn off the stove, don't drink tap water in Brazil, and always hit the like button while watching Tactical Manager videos. Those are the rules that I live by, and they made me who I am. So you should follow it as well if you want to be like Tactical Manager. And definitely don't drink tap water in Brazil. I learned it the hard way. No further comments. Okay, now before we begin, let me know in the comment section down below which player gains the most with Pochettino as the new United States men's national team head coach and which player loses the most. Okay, let's begin. All right, let's start by talking about his tactics and style of play. Over the years, Mauricio Pochettino has shown to be tactically flexible and adjust depending on the team that he is in charge. Smart man. Very smart. He has shown that while working with Espanyol in La Liga, Southampton in the Premier League, Tottenham in the Premier League, PSG in Liga, and then Chelsea also in the English Premier League. However, there have been some consistent themes throughout all the clubs that he has worked with, and that's what we're going to use to project what the United States might look under him. And understand that we have never seen him work as a national team coach before, just clubs, which can be quite different. However, I do expect a lot of similarities. With that said, why don't we start talking about the probable formation? And right away, based on previous work, especially during his time with Tottenham and most recently with Chelsea, it's fair to assume that he's going to go with a 4-2-3-1 formation. Of course, he can and probably will have some tactical variations, but based on the US men's national team player pool and the data that we have on Mauricio Pochettino, a 4-2-3-1 is likely going to be the new go-to formation, while Berhalter was more of a 4-3-3. Another few common themes throughout his work is that all of his teams, pretty much, or most of them, besides that PSG one with Mbappe, Messi, and Neymar, they all like to press. Now, they also have shown time in and time out that they can be really good and quick in transition. They're good on the counterattack, something the United States has kind of sucked the past 4 to 5 years, which is actually a little funny because in the past, the United States was really good in defending for their lives and hitting the opponent in transition. But under Berhalter, we were always very slow on the counterattack. Have we ever actually scored a goal on the counterattack under Berhalter? I don't remember. Maybe 1 or 2, but I honestly don't remember. Under Pochettino, I expect that to improve a lot. His teams tend to be deadly in quick transitions. I must also say that he is very much positional play oriented. Personally, I don't enjoy positional play too much, but it has proven to be successful at a high level. Very often it can kill the fluidity of the team in the final third, but with Pochettino, it usually works. His teams usually seem to be very fluid. He does also love to play out of the back. That's something that he's going to have to reevaluate with the United States men's national team player pool, but we'll talk more about that when we go through the starting 11. When it comes to defensive shape, very often it has been common for his teams to be in a narrow 4-4-2 mid-block, or sometimes a 4-2-2-2 mid-block, which kind of helps with the press, right? We talked about how he loves to press. But I'm not going to go through all the phases of play in this specific video, mainly because I don't feel like it. Another important aspect to mention is that he loves runners. He likes players that can run a lot. Of course, this is a guy that loves players with technical ability. He likes number 10s, like players that can actually play make. He likes to build out of the back, but he loves runners. He very often under Mauricio Pochettino, a lot of his clubs look like Forrest Gump FC. Over the past 10 seasons or so in the English Premier League, Pochettino had 4 of his teams in the top 8 when it comes to distance per game. Quite remarkable, right? Is that a good thing, a bad thing? I mean, as long as your team stays healthy and you play your best players, right? Don't just put guys that can run. It should be fine. And now that's good because it'll force Weston McKennie to stay in shape or ride the bench. All right, now let's briefly talk about his work with Chelsea, the most recent one he's had in his club career. When he took over Chelsea, they were essentially just Christianity ball, just putting in cross after cross after cross. If they had a pound of garlic with them, I'd be wondering if they're a soccer team or just, working for Van Helsing to fight Dracula or something like that. But anyhow, they were struggling to score because essentially all they did was cross, struggling against low blocks, and Pochettino fixed that. A big reason for it was Cole Palmer playing as a roaming 10. It made their attack far more fluid, and instead of playing natural wingers out wide, he started playing inverted wingers to drift inside and combine with Cole Palmer. That's an oversimplification of how he fixed their offense, but that's a big aspect of it. The problem with that team was that there was no defensive structure. Issues with the back line, the double pivot in the midfield was often exposed. They were also very vulnerable in transition. My point is their defense got worse under Mauricio Pochettino. Their offense got a lot better. It was crystal clear. If you watched Chelsea last season, it was pretty evident. Now, to be fair, a lot of the negatives I just mentioned about Chelsea were mainly because of the players, individual mistakes. It wasn't all tactical. So I think that should not be an issue with the US. I hope. Fingers crossed. Right? It's not like our players are better than the Chelsea players, but maybe Pochettino can get the best out of them. Chelsea has been rough with many different coaches. Out of the coaches that Chelsea has had in the Todd Bowley era, Pochettino has been the best one. Also, keep in mind that being a coach is far more than just player selection, formation, and tactics. We will likely see a big change in culture within the United States men's national team, a much needed change in mentality after witnessing 5 years of a mentally weak US men's national team under Greg Berhalter that would have panic attacks every time they played away from home or faced any kind of adversity. Okay, now let's move on to what Pochettino's starting 11 might look like. And for the sake of this video, let's assume everyone is healthy. Okay, so as we have already established, he will probably play in a 4-2-3-1. And I'm not going to go through maybe I'll show at the end what the defensive shape will look like. It's usually just a 4-4-2 narrow, which can help him press, and usually more of a mid-block, but we might not go through that. So let's go position by position in the 4-2-3-1 and kind of like talk about what Pochettino usually looks or seeks. What player profile does he want for each position? And keep in mind, he could and probably will adapt to the US player pool. We're just going based off the work he's done for clubs. And let's start with the goalkeeper. And that position is up for grabs. He likes to play out of the back, so Matt Turner is a no-no. He might still go with Turner at first, but he will definitely test and look for alternatives. Maybe he'll give a shot for some of the young guys before 2026, like Gabriel Sonina from Chelsea. Actually, not Chelsea, right? He's loaned out to Barnsley. Or Patrick Schulte that plays for the Columbus Crew in MLS. So who will start there in the goalkeeper position? I don't know. It beats the living crap out of me. With that said, who will start for the US as the goalkeeper? I don't know. Flip a coin. That's it. Just flip a coin. I truly don't know. He needs to find an alternative or he can't play out of the back. You can't play out of the back with Matt Turner on goal. So that's it for the goalkeeper. Let's talk about the fullbacks. Okay, right back and left back. This to me is an easy one. He likes fullbacks that can push high up the field, provide width with crosses, which allows the wingers to tuck inside and combine with the 10 or find the fullback out wide for a cross. If healthy, it'll be Serginho Dest and Anthony Robinson. We don't have another left back option anywhere near as good as Anthony Robinson right now, and Serginho Dest is far better on the ball than Joe Scally, which can help on the build out and combination play in the final third. So Dest and A-Rob will be his guys, as it should be, and this one was kind of easy. Next up, we have the center backs, and this one is tough because, as I said before, he likes to play out of the back, which requires ball-playing defenders. And American center backs usually are not ball-playing defenders. And I'll say this, I think he's going to keep Tim Ream around at least early on. It is worrisome for 2026 because, Tim Ream is kind of ancient at this point and he has already moved back to MLS, so he is declining, but he still is the best ball-playing defender that we have, considering John Brooks completely disappeared from existence after he had a fallout with Greg Berhalter. And he will likely start Chris Richards as the other center back, as he should. Richards is probably our best center back right now, playing for Crystal Palace in the Premier League. Then we have options like Mark McKenzie, see how he does in France. If Cameron Carter-Vickers maybe can find a better league than the Scottish league, which is not really good. Maybe Jalen Neal develops and gets an opportunity. Jalen Neal is actually very good on the ball. He is a ball-playing defender. Maybe Josh Winder that plays for Benfica B. And look, I have suggested this a while back. Listen to this. Maybe, and don't hate me for it, just maybe, he should try Tanner Tessman as a center back. Personally, I don't think Tanner Tessman is a good 6 or 8. He can't turn on the ball as well, not as technical in tight spaces, but he can play out of the back. He has good range on his passing, and he has size. He has the player profile of a defender. He is athletic, and he has a good reading of the game with interceptions, tackles. Maybe he should try Tanner Tessman as a center back. Who knows? Or maybe I'm just crazy. But early on, I'm expecting it to be Chris Richards and Tim Ream, with Tim Ream being replaced within the next 12 months. At least in the starting 11, maybe not in the roster. Or Pochettino will have to just give up on playing out of the back and going ugly. Yes, by ugly I mean Route 1 football, just go long. That might be the option. If he can't replace Turner and he can't, get center backs that can't play on the ball, he's just going to have to give up on playing out of the back and adapt to the player pool that he has. This is not a club where he can just sign new players. These are the players that we have, and he's going to have to find a way to work with them. Next up, we have the two central midfielders, the double pivot. And if healthy, I think he's going to go with Tyler Adams and Johnny Cardoso in the double pivot, which in terms of player profile, it kind of matches a little bit of Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez for Chelsea, the double pivot that he had throughout this season. Both of them cover a lot of ground and will protect the back line. Johnny can bring some of his South American experience and development, which I'm pretty sure will be appreciated by Pochettino, while Tyler Adams can cover a lot of ground and press, two things that Pochettino very much enjoys. And they're both fine on the ball. If Tyler is not healthy, which has been happening a lot lately, unfortunately, I think he'll likely go with Johnny Cardoso and Yunus Musa. McKennie needs to be in shape, and if he is in shape, he can fight for a spot at the central midfield position, or even as a pressing 10 for Pochettino, but based on what we saw in the Copa America, it's more likely that Weston McKennie will be a backup than a starter. So I would expect him to go with Johnny and Tyler if everyone's healthy, and if Tyler's not healthy, probably Yunus Musa would be the next one in line. And understand, nothing on this specific video, in this video actually, is what I would do. Well, some things are, but I'm just trying to rationalize what I think Pochettino will do. So if you love it, love Pochettino, not me. If you hate it, hate Pochettino, not me. Essentially, don't shoot the messenger. Or shoot the messenger. I don't care. You can shoot me. It's fine. Actually, don't shoot me, because that would kill me. Don't shoot me. Next up, we have one of the positions that I'm looking forward to the most under Mauricio Pochettino, and that is the 10 position, the central attacking midfielder. And I'm hoping that Gio Reyna or Malik Tillman will thrive in this system. Look, this is pure speculation, but at first, due to playing time, I'm going to assume that Tillman will get a shot while playing at the 10 first. I would not be surprised if that happens, so I think Malik Tillman might start at first for Pochettino, but he will most certainly give a shot to both of them. And you know what? May the best win. I think Gio Reyna is better than Tillman, but time will tell. Under Berhalter, Reyna was starting as a central midfielder, but playing super deep. With Pochettino, Tillman or Reyna will play very high up the field. He usually tends to thrive under him. We saw that with Dele Alli, we saw that with Cole Palmer, and I'm expecting the same with Malik Tillman or Gio Reyna. One concern of mine here is that there were moments where he played Conor Gallagher as an energy drink, hustle merchant pressing 10 for Chelsea. And our equivalent to that would be Brendan Aronson at the 10. And I hope we do not try Brendan Aronson as a 10. I really do. We should not be playing Brendan Aronson as a 10 in the United States men's national team, period. Next up, we have the wingers, which would be the right wing and the left wing. And listen, the left wing is easy. Or is it? He does like wingers, that tuck inside and combine with the 10, which leads me to believe that he would put Christian Pulisic on the left wing so he would drift inside as an inverted winger. However, that means the right winger would be either Weah, Haji, or Brendan Aronson, all right-footed, natural wingers if they play on the right wing. So, for that reason, I think he would actually put Christian Pulisic on the right wing, because Pulisic, when he plays on the right wing for Milan, he tucks inside quite a bit. He's almost like a wide playmaker for them. He drifts inside, scores with his left foot, combines with whoever's playing in the 10 position. So I think there are higher odds of Weah getting benched and Pochettino going with Pulisic on the right wing and Haji Wright as an inverted winger on the left wing, which is where he plays for Coventry. Again, all three are good in transition, Pulisic, Weah, and Haji. And he could go with either one. But I think Pulisic and Haji make more sense under what Pochettino likes to play with. He might even consider Weah as a right back option at times if Serginho Dest is not available. So my guess here is Pulisic on the right wing, Haji Wright on the left wing. Last but not least, we have the center forward. And to me, this one's pretty easy. I understand that Sargent does a lot that fits into Pochettino's system. But again, this is not Harry Kane, right? Let's not pretend Sargent is Harry Kane. And I think that Balogun will be the clear starter. Ricardo Pepi has no shot, at least until he becomes a starter for his club. Balogun is also really good, or good enough in combination play, good off the ball, fantastic in transition, which Pochettino will appreciate quite a bit, and he can press. Of course, neither him or anyone in this team is Harry Kane, but he could play a similar role maybe to Nicholas Jackson from Chelsea, which, funny enough, they're both pretty wasteful when it comes to finishing, Balogun and Nicholas Jackson. Yeah, the center forward will be Balogun. So just to recap, this is the projected starting 11 for Mauricio Pochettino for now. It can change and it probably will change. I'm doing this prediction way too early, so it likely will change. The goalkeeper can be anyone. The right back will be Serginho Dest when healthy, and Anthony Robinson on the left back. Tim Ream and Chris Richards will be the center backs for now. Adams and Johnny, if they're both healthy, as the double pivot, with Malik Tillman at the 10, and Gio Reyna can also start, but I just think that he'll start Tillman first because Tillman's actually playing for his club. Christian Pulisic on the right wing, Haji Wright on the left wing, and Balogun as the center forward. All right, now let's talk about the players that will gain the most under Mauricio Pochettino when compared to the Berhalter era. So the first player that will gain from the addition of Mauricio Pochettino is pretty much any goalkeeper that can kick a soccer ball, because Matt Turner ain't safe anymore. I'm pretty sure Pochettino will look into alternatives, so any goalkeeper that can kick a ball and shot stop. The other ones I want to talk about is Malik Tillman and Gio Reyna, because under Pochettino, we are finally going to have a 10. They're going to get their opportunities, and they're going to be put in the best position to thrive, to get the best out of these players. So Tillman or Reyna. I also think Johnny will get a lot more opportunities under Mauricio Pochettino than he did under Greg Berhalter. Leonard Maloney might actually get a spot in the roster because, he runs a lot like Forrest Gump. Balogun for sure, quick transitions, can combine. He can be a bit wasteful, but as I said, I think he's going to be a locked-in starter under Pochettino and will thrive in his system. Last but not least, I think the center backs, because he's going to focus on ball-playing defenders, which pushes away players like Miles Robinson, Walker Zimmerman, and opens up space for other players like Mark McKenzie, maybe Jalen Neal, maybe Austin Trusty, to get an opportunity, at least to get called in. But hey, those are just my thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Which players gain the most with a new coach? Now we're gonna go through my concerns. Of course, are there any? And understand that I'm not gonna go through the positives. I more or less did that throughout this specific video, and I did an entire stream talking about it as well. There are far more positives than negatives. It's not even close. But let's skim through some minor concerns that are fair concerns to have. He has no national team experience. I mean, it's not too big of a concern, but I think it's fair. He has 2 years to figure it out, so it's not that much time. It's not a full cycle, and we'll see what he does. But it is a fair concern to have that, Mauricio Pochettino has no head coaching national team experience. The other one is with Chelsea, he improved the offense a lot. but there was no defensive structure. I talked about this earlier in the video. It was pretty bad. In the United States men's national team in the 2026 World Cup, we are probably going to be underdogs at some point against some opponent in the knockout rounds. We need a rock-solid defense, something he has to get right with the United States men's national team, and I think he will. And again, he can't be stubborn. He has to adapt. If he can't find players to play out of the back, adapt, change. That is a big concern. Will Pochettino be stubborn or will he adapt? And I think he will adapt. And I mean, that's it. There aren't many concerns in terms of this coaching hire. The federation went out and hired essentially the best coach they could get. Unless you thought they were going to get Klopp. This is literally a coach one tier below Klopp. I thought it was a fantastic hire, and credit where it's due. I've been very critical of the federation, but they did the best they could. I do have some concerns in regards to the players, but in terms of the coaching hire, it was pretty darn good, and I don't have that many concerns. And understand that Mauricio Pochettino is no guarantee of success for the US men's national team, but this is a top hire, and there's plenty of reasons for all US men's national team fans to be very optimistic. And trust me, I am optimistic. I think with Pochettino, there is a realistic shot in the United States men's national team making it to the quarterfinals in the 2026 World Cup. After that, will require some luck, players being in form. A lot of things need to happen. Like a semifinals run is not realistic, but quarterfinals under Pochettino, I think it's fairly realistic. All right, everyone, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to drop a like before you go, and hopefully you enjoyed this calculated guess of how Mauricio Pochettino will set up the United States men's national team that I will most certainly get wrong. I want to thank you all very much for watching, and have a great day.